Well, candidates are entering the final stretch before Kentucky's primary election on Tuesday, hosting events across the state trying to earn much-needed votes. WHAS11's Connor Steffen was out today as one candidate hoped bringing in a big name would help support their cause. He joins us now live in studio.
Yeah, Bobby, about 50 or so supporters showed up near the outskirts of Louisville for the event, and Kraft made it well worth it for them, bringing in a major name from D.C. to endorse her as she vies for the Republican nomination. Texas Senator Ted Cruz joined Kelly Kraft and State Senator Max Wise, that's Kraft's running mate today. Cruz is promoting Kraft's campaign and took shots at Governor Beshear. Kraft's running mate Senator Max Wise did too, calling him a beta male. There was also a lot of talk about tackling the woke ideology, particularly in schools.
Has to be disciplined back in the classroom. And under a Governor Kraft, there will be, because we have to swim upstream to the family table. God has got to be back at the family table.
But Kelly doesn't have to do this. She doesn't have to jump in this mess, and the reason she's running for governor is because she cares about the people of Kentucky. The reason she's running for governor is she looks at the lunacy that is hitting this country, that is hitting this state.
Tonight you'll hear from other GOP candidates as they also continue their last-minute campaigning. For now in the studio, Connor Steffen, WHAS 11 on your side.
All right, thank you so much, Connor. Well, now Secretary of State Michael Adams anticipates a low voter turnout for this year's primary, going so far as to call the predicted turnout sad. He has already released some numbers from early voting turnout. More than 23,000 Kentuckians used no excuse early voting yesterday. Nearly 3,500 have used in-person excused absentee voting. Meanwhile, more than 11,000 Kentuckians have returned their mail-in absentee ballots. Well, early voting here in Louisville has been a smooth process. Poll workers and early voters telling us they have been overall pleased with how easy it was to vote.
A lot of them are looking at the ballots and was like, is this all? And we're like, yeah, this is a short ballot. Like, when y'all come back in November, it's going to be longer.
People are so nice. We need to change our address. Ty helped us. It was great. The volunteers are always great.
Now, we know that in Louisville alone, nearly 6,800 people have already used early in-person voting. That was the total from Thursday into Friday, and hundreds more turned out today. Now, early voting has officially ended, and if you missed it, you still have a chance to cast your vote on Tuesday. Polls open at 6 a.m. and close at 6 p.m. Tuesday. Make sure you bring a valid ID. Well, Kentucky's education commissioner is looking for a new job. Dr. Jason Glass says it's partly because there's a culture war against educators right now, bringing politics into the Department of Education. Isaiah Ken Martinez has more.
Kentucky Education Commissioner Jason Glass chose not to interview, but did offer insight into his future, saying, quote, "Serving as commissioner in my home state of Kentucky has been an incredible professional honor." He continues, quote, "At this point in my career, I am seeking a place where our family can put down roots and where I can have a long-term and meaningful impact on an educational system." His spokesperson, Tony Cons-Tatman, going a step further, quote, "It has been clear to Dr. Glass that the education priorities of the legislature are focused on culture war issues and dismantling the state's public schools. Commissioner Glass does not share these values." The last time we spoke to Glass was one-on-one in April during a KDE-hosted meeting on the future of education in the state.
It gives us an opportunity to check in with our communities on how things are going. What lessons are we learning?
Glass has been heavily criticized by Republicans in Frankfort and the GOP field for governor, most notably Kelly Kraft, for his public opposition to legislation like Senate Bill 150, now law.
I believe there is woke in the school system.
How many of you want to get rid of the current education commissioner?
The right answer is that Jason Glass needs to find another job.
It's his job to enforce and implement these laws, and therefore, in some cases, he's giving opinions and providing ideas to the local school systems throughout the state. And you know, I think it's space that he didn't want to be in, but out of necessity, he was forced there.
Former JCPS board member Sam Corbett says education in Kentucky continues to be increasingly political, and he doesn't believe that's changing, no matter who the education commissioner is.
Obviously, the commissioner has to look out after his own welfare and his family's welfare. And he's put it out there that he's a candidate for this position. So obviously, if he doesn't get this position, he's more than likely going to be looking for other opportunities down the road.
Well, instead of flowers this Mother's Day, Mom Demand Action is calling for gun reform. The Kentucky chapter and chapters all across the country protested today, calling on Congress to reinstate the assault weapons ban. Representative Morgan McGarvey also attended the Louisville event, which was at Seneca Park. McGarvey has been pushing for gun reform since he took office, calling for a ban on assault weapons, red flag laws, and universal background checks. Well, colleges across the Derby City hosted their graduation ceremonies today. U of L is celebrating nearly 3,700 students getting degrees or certificates at the Yum Center today. This is the first graduation for new U of L President Dr. Kim Schatzel. In remarks before commencement, Schatzel noted today was a special day for the university and herself.
I have spent much of my first 3 months learning all that I can about U of L, about its traditions, culture, history of achievement and innovation as an anchor institution of great impact for the city of Louisville and the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I've learned about the U of L community and their passion for being part of the Cardinal family and Card Nation. And I know you're all very excited to be receiving your degree today and joining over 160,000 Cardinal alumni from around the globe.
Well, meanwhile, over at Bellarmine, 915 degrees were awarded today, and ceremonies were held in historic Freedom Hall, celebrating the work students put in at the private university.